north to be south, south to be north. Where I'm from, Virginia, of course. South to be north to be south. What it's like. Hey yo, it is what it is. Yeah, hey yo, what it is what it is. It couldn't be nothing else. We found place off.
Now we can get into it. Talk some Northern Virginia music, and maybe even some DC sports too.
All right, let's go for it.
You want to warm up complaining about some DC sports?
Nah, I'm not a complainer, man. I tell you, I'm a bit disappointed in my Wizards, but I'm a diehard Redskins fan, man.
I know. I see your posts and whatnot. All right. Now that we got some of that out of the way, we got warmed up on some sports. Let's take it way back. So tell me about the birth of pea soup. You know, and where and how you became like an artist known as pea soup.
Wow, the birth of pea soup. So I'm gonna go back to '88. Well, I'll even go back further than that. Back when we were still breaking, Justice was actually, you know, pretty much in knee deep in the producing. Kent Kaiser, one of the first ever rappers from Reston. Pretty solid, man. Kent was a dude back in the day. There really wasn't anybody else rhyming, but I can remember my first taste of trying to get on the mic. I had one word. And for whatever reason, after 50 takes, I just couldn't say it on beat. So they finally just said, forget it, dude, you're out of here. That was my first experience on the mic. Let's fast forward to about 89.
How old were you then?
Oh, God. We're talking, I guess that was 80, maybe between 83, 85. Oh, God, can't do my own math. About 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so 8 or 9 years old. Fast forward, freshman year in high school, my older brother, Greg, was already rhyming. He was actually very talented, man. Still to this day, I feel like he was one of the better lyricists out here. He just kind of faded into the wind. But listening to one of his tracks, I just finally decided one day, I said, I think I can do this. So, you know, we had a little cassette tape, did our little our first rhymes, and you know, mine was garbage, but, you know, I had potential because I had the voice. And that's kind of what kicked it off. Pea Soup was born. I didn't really know how to come up with a name. So, you know, the original meaning behind Pea Soup, the name, is actually mad corny. But I was a huge De La Soul fan. Always, still am. But, you know, I started thinking about the whole True Boy the Dove thing. I was like, well, I like soup. And everybody calls me Pookie. So that's the only kind of, you know, correlation I could come up with. I was like, all right, let's go with it. Pea Soup. Boom. Pea Soup was born. Yeah, man, and from that, you know, it stuck with me. I can't say that I like it.
I didn't even mean the name. I meant, do you actually like the dish pea soup?
Oh, dude, I like any kind of soup, man. It's not too many soups that I won't eat. Only kind of soup I won't eat is that cold stuff. I won't eat none of that gazpacho or whatever it's called. I can't eat that. But any kind of soup, I'm down. So that is 100% true.
All right, I feel you. I like soup too. I'm a big soup fan.
Absolutely. But so yeah, man. My biggest hamper going in early. I will say this. You know, we're talking about the end of the '80s, going into the early '90s when hip hop really started having, you know, some gems. You know, no disrespect to the originators, but you know, when you know, hip hop gems and classics and 5 mic classics were about to come into play. You know, my biggest hamper was writing, which is the most important part. But then also, you know, having an opportunity at that age, being in school, I played football, so my mom was in other places. Around the time,
what do you mean that you were hampered by writing?
not hampered by writing, but just, you know, school and playing football. My mind wasn't where it needed to be for my I guess I would say my producer, my brother, to focus on me more. So then I guess I kind of use it as an excuse. So my tracks were they were far and few between 89 and 92, 93. By the time I became a junior in high school, I'm like, all right, this is garbage. Stop making excuses. You got to write, man. Or you're not going to have anything. There's not going to be a tale of pea soup. There will be no suburban legend. It's never going to happen. So, you know, I started picking up the writing in class, at home. Graduated in 93 and started getting my taste of the freestyle world.
And you graduated from Herndon, right?
No, I was Seahawk. The only Seahawk in my family, man.
Really? Because then we were there at the same time. I didn't realize that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was class of 95.
Oh, snap. Oh, yeah. Then we definitely saw me trotting through the hallways, man. I did a couple of talent shows there with some of my own original music, so yeah.
Like I was in the same class with the guys that the Justice refers to as the Cedar Ridge boys. Like I was in the same class with Byron and with TJ.
Ah, gotcha. No doubt. They were a rough enough reality back in the day, man. I always had a lot of respect for those dudes, those cats back in the day, man. Always.
Yeah. My first like hip hop recording sessions were with those guys.
Oh wow. Nice. Now were you a DJ? Were you a producer?
I was DJing and producing, yeah. And
nice.
I was very my production like partner was this guy, Derek Douglas. And Derek was like Rough Enough Reality's or Reality's first DJ.
Okay.
So that's sort of how I got brought in, and you know, I had a 4-track and some mics in a basement where we could do our thing. So
that's all you needed back then. That's all you needed back then, bro.
Exactly. Oh, and I had the records too.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge.
All right. So tell me about when you started actually committing to this thing.
So this would have been 93, 94 era. Oh, actually, a little tidbit that I have to bring up. Football was my first love. My junior year in high school, I actually told the head coach that I was taking my junior year off to become a rapper. He did not like that too much. We ended up going to the state semifinals, and I would have been the running back. Unfortunately, a member of the Cedar Ridge crew, whose name I won't mention, who had fumbling issues, ended up being the backup when our running back went down. I never fumbled the ball, and everybody hates me till this day for that. So anyway,
is that when we lost to Hayfield?
It was Halifax. Halifax.
Halifax, that's what I mean. I was at that game.
Yeah, I didn't go. I was embarrassed, so I just chose not to show face.
Yeah, that was a rough loss. That was our best season that I can remember the whole time that I was in high school, or even any time around then. That was really our big chance.
But my bad, I sidetracked us there on that one. So fast forwarding again, 93 to 94. I graduated, didn't get to go to college because of money and finances, because my brothers wasted my father's money. So, I'm sticking around going to Nova. Cool. I was, really, really involved in recording in the studio with my brother a lot. Just writing so much, man. And then, a big influence back then would have been getting introduced to, little Tope. So, I started getting into the ciphers and freestyling. That kind of changed everything, man, between 93 and 94, man. Blazing just I was like, wow, now music is just a million times better, and I can do it a lot better. But I didn't want it to be, the only reason why, and I didn't want that to be my primary focus. It was just kind of that changing, because I'd grown up being a goody-goody. I never drank, never did anything. So that kind of just heightened and it just changed things altogether. So 93, 94, I ended up also, that's why I guess midway through 94, I found out I was going to be a father. But I had started performing a lot more at that time as well. So that was 93, 94 was really, really pivotal. It was a lot of things. I started having more things to write about, being a father, young father, and it really took off, man, at that point, man, between, and then from 94 to 97, which was hip-hop's hey period, as far as the 90s were, and the most classic hip-hop albums that's come out. That's just all I did, man. I just wrote, ciphered, I battled dudes on the streets in D.C. a couple times, went to the Ibex, just stand on the corner, ciphering at my man's house, here and there, anywhere. And, hip-hop was just my life, man. I ate, drank, sleep. It was everything, man.
What's up, y'all? It's P-Suit. It's in the old school. Whatever happened to the old school niggas? Things were straight back in the old school figure. When all was slow, but now it's all quicker. People change and the world is much sicker. Fresh on the seat, ain't over, got an old school mentality. I'm ready to throw hands when casket in my skin like calories. Who's Valerie? Who gives a hot damn? But that's who smiled at me. Toting guns might make me feel safe. There's my children. I'd die if I found out it was my fault that my guns killed them. So listen, see, this is a low down, rotten catastrophe. Like when kids climb up on schools and straight up just start blasting seeds. I've grown up, like back in the days when hands were thrown up. Not as gang signs, but to use as an uppercut. Chase the butt? Oh hell no, I hope you didn't. Better sit down so you'll be here for a minute. Cause see, what you need is knowledge and a background. So you can see if she been around. No hand-me-downs. It used to be about tangos and backspins on the ceiling. See, I feel all and no things have changed throughout the century. Whatever happened to the old school niggas? Things were straight back in the old school figure. When all was slow, but now it's all quicker. People change and the world is much sicker. Whatever happened to the old school niggas? Things were straight back in the old school figure. When all was slow,
Things didn't really go downhill from that point. It's just I started to interact and get more experience. There's a time in between that era where I met Maya and I was in the studio with DMX when he recorded, It's Dark as Hell and Hot in Maryland. Recorded a song with Maya, and unfortunately my ex-wife, out of a rage, destroyed that, so I'll never get a chance to hear that again. But, so there's a lot of interaction, meeting Missy Elliott, sitting down with Montel Jordan in the studio, and, just learning and trying to get a feel for what it's like to be in the industry. And, I was like, this is what I want. This is what I got to do. But I always had in the back of my mind that I ain't there yet. I always use football metaphor, analogies as, like that player, you can't be complacent on the football field. You'll never make, you'll never be, on the top. You'll never be a superstar. So that's the kind of the attitude I had. I felt really confident about my writing, but I always knew there was something I was missing in order to be like a celebrity. So I constantly writing. The persona of P Soup, as far as what type of lyricist, I'm not really, I've never been really, was never really the storyteller. I was more of a play off words, funny, metaphor type dude. I'm always looking for the funniest line or the baddest catchphrases, that's what I'm writing. So when I'm sitting down writing bars and bars and bars, that's what I'm trying to do. Just try to evolve, as much as I could into that storyteller. But that was my thing, kind of like the Keith Murray, but in my own way. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it developed through the 90s, man. We getting up into the 2000s, and things started heightening. Hip hop started changing. So I wanted to make sure my style was changing. So, you know, I would get out and battle with more people. At this point, I'd done a lot, you know, done a few, I guess, posse tracks. I've sent you a couple of those. What You Want with HEAD. Let me see. We Dropped the Goodies. My man Will C. He also from Maryland. That would have been around the time that I recorded with Maya. So getting that experience, that was something I always wanted to do too, that I never had a chance to. With reality, you know, we always would say, yo, we got to do a track with Sue. We got to do a track with Sue. And it just, for whatever reason, just never panned out. And then bouncing around with different groups, man. The funny thing is, the name Pea Soup. I've been in like a couple of groups, but never really had like a long-standing group that, you know, that I stayed with. It always came back to the soloist Pea Soup.
Well, I mean, it seems, if anything, like your group was sort of like a duo of you and your brother.
Pretty much.
You know, your brother was making the beats, and you were and you were writing the rhymes and MCing.
For the most part, that's what it was. For so many years, man. I was 20 plus in the game, and probably for well over 10 years of that, I'd never recorded under any other producer.
Big Trust. SE. Some urban entertainment, nigga. You don't know, you better ask somebody. I'm about to make them mad on this one. I be in the limelight, give me attention. Do what I want to, do what I want to. What I got, I know that you want it. Do what I want to, do what I want to. You pop bottles, I break records. Do what I want to, do what I want to. I be in the limelight, give me attention. Do what I want to, do what I want to. We step in to make the night start up. I post up and they be like, run up. We dress how we want. When we in here where you want to be. Atmosphere, IPC, demand your attention. One champion, honorable mention. Who needs the streets when you can freak beats? Mud on my sheets, cause I freak the cleats. One mean streak, it's havoc I wreak. Mad dubs with the club when they chorus love. Chicks throwing drawers in my back duffel. Think I seen Weezy in the back eating truffles. Limelight is my comfort, thrive on attention. Walk like a lick and drive, beat my suspension. Suburban rhyme soup, peak my invention. Got your whole crew shook, that's my intention. I be in the limelight, give me attention. Do what I want to, do what I want to. What I got, I know that you want it. Do what I want to, do what I want to. You pop bottles, I break records. Do what I want to, do what I want to.
I mean, it probably would have been interesting to bring your older brother in. His name's Eggery, right?
Yeah, we call him Eggery. It's a little inside family joke, but it's Greg. But yeah, what was his Big Brother Vibe? I think was his stage name back then. And actually, one of the best shows that we ever did in Reston. I actually have that picture. One of my classmates just asked me to send it to him yesterday. We did a team fest at Lake Fairfax in Reston. That would have been my junior year when I took on football. And yeah, we had a group. I can't remember what the name of the group was at the time. We had a couple. Hardheads was one of them, but I think that may have been that was the name of the group. It was Hardheads. And we did the show at Team Fest. Man, we blew it up. I can't remember, and we had a pretty big crowd out there, man. I want to say maybe 200-300 people, you know, just for being young and being out in that open venue and you know, not really knowing how to promote. We had a huge crowd, man, and I definitely out of all the artists and the acts, we definitely turned it out. So yeah, me and my brother, we've definitely recorded a handful of songs.
When you were doing Hardheads, so was Justice was on the drums?
Justice was, yeah, he was still on always had his, he always had his MP. Well, once he upgraded from the 4-track, yeah, but he always had the MP.
Because I know he was doing like live stuff on drums even before that, maybe. But I think that was more like Go-Go, and maybe him and Greg, maybe where Greg was playing keys and Justice was on drums. You might have been like way young when that was going on.
Actually, we had a group. Oh God, it was YEB, Young Experience. Before I think there was actually a more famous Young Experience. But yeah, we did Herndon High School's homecoming. That would have been my sophomore year in high school, 90, 91, and I was one of the talkers / rappers. And Justice played the drums, John Love played the congos, and Greg played the keyboards. So dead on you.
I mean, it seems like if you guys stayed together as like a trio, with you, Greg, and Justice, just like playing live hip hop, that could have been really interesting.
Agreed. Now let me ask you this question real quick. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother. Yeah.
Okay. I'm the youngest of 4, and one of the reasons why I'll say kindly, we decided to agree to just go separate ways with music. It's siblings, and at the end of the day, when Greg and I would record, and I'm probably saying too much for the recorder now, but it's all good. When Greg and I would record, it was just like smooth as butter. Greg's tracks weren't as complete. He didn't know how to mix as well as Justice. He didn't know how to synchronize beats as well as Justice. But they were raw underground beats, and I loved them. And that he's kind of actually that got me. He's the one that helped me get to the next level for writing. For one, being a great lyricist, and 2, making beats that I asked for and that I wanted and that made me want to flow on. Justice is more of the, I guess, I don't know, I would say like the puffy type, like he wants to tell the artist how to be, and I'm not that type of artist. I'm like, I write for me. I don't want to sound like Lil Wayne or Lil Mama or anybody. I'm sound like Soup. And if you don't like it, I'm going to take the high road. So that's really the reason why all that stuff kind of separated. And we've gone back and forth with this for years. And it's sometimes, for the most part, it was a good thing. You get that separation. I got a chance to go work with Eric Thompson in 2005 or 2000. I think it was in 2004. We did a whole sports track deal where he'd come up with this concept that, we're going to do sports music. You hear all this stuff at the football games and basketball games. He's like, Soup, you got that voice, man. You always project, and it's energetic. Let's do it. I think you're perfect. And to me, I think it was a great project. Pass Me the Ball, I think, was one of the most creative songs I've ever written, without a shadow of a doubt. They didn't like it. It wasn't taken, but, it was a good experience. But going and working with Eric and then coming back and working with Justice, years later, which would have been my last record, I think we recorded last a couple of years ago, it brought out something different in me. Confidence was totally different than it was back in the day. It was, much stronger. And, I think I wrote some of the best music I've ever written with the last 2 albums I recorded.
Dig it, coming from the 703, who's coming through? Yours truly, I'm still mad silly. Say what? May's first name ain't Willie. Fairfax is the county, don't slip here, really. Fantastic, the Commonwealth, and I love beers. Everybody knows my name like I stepped in cheers. Step in the spot, they might call me by my former name. Give me love, cause I'm reppin' home, watch me reign. I'm a native of VA, home's where I remain. I can see right through a punk like he's cellophane. We thrive off gelling when there's beef, we box. In the spot, you'll hear me yelling, beat me poppin' lock. I'm from Virginia, yes, and I run my mouth. But I was born in Union City in the dirty South. VA, where I was raised and where I choose to die. I give a shout out to my resting fam, ain't never lie. Hip hop, you don't stop. Your head's bobbing, you don't stop. My love for hip-hop won't end. My love for hip-hop won't end. Not for the game, keep the new name. Amazing. Chests will get caved in for what they played in. It's the truth back in the days when I was flowing lazy. Love didn't pay me and I chilled on the daily. They would call me champ like my last name was Bailey. Can't forget my roots, you can call me Alex Haley. Don't lose me like Ike lost Tina. My mind's on full, I'm a real big dreamer. You dead in the coffin? You won't hear me. Maze the new craze, none of y'all can get near me. It's a talent I possess, but I'm not possessed. I'm smooth when I rest now. Ain't I a mess? I'm killing them, but not in the literal sense. I'm top billing them, but you can keep your change and sense. I'm your idol, coming with the untouched flow. Make my mark so you feeling me and stack my dough. Hip hop, you don't stop. Your head's bobbing, you don't stop. My love for hip hop won't end. My love for hip hop won't end.
So, you know, you take the good with the bad. It's not a horrible thing. My brother's extremely talented, but two people with our personalities, we just bump heads too many times.
I hear you, man. I could never work creatively with my brother. Or, you know what? I probably could. I don't think my brother could work creatively with me. Put it that
I bet you. Yeah, well, if the money was right, you'd figure it out.
He's the older brother, and he would never be able to take input or criticism from me.
I think you just hit the nail on the head, buddy. That's got to be what it is, man. That's got to be what it is, because I'm the younger brother, and, of course, he's been dealing with people in the industry. You know, there's been a lot of gaps. Granted, I was father way before he was, but, you know, there was a lot of gaps with me not being in studio and not, you know, being involved, so, you know, he felt like he had to reintroduce me to everything every time, so, you know, it was just a lot of different factors, man. Again, nothing against my brother at all, man. He's extremely talented. There are very many producers. There really isn't any producer that I can give enough credit, at least from that I've worked with locally, that I can give more credit to him. Dude is just extremely talented, man. He knows his stuff. So I'm honored to have had to been able to work with my brother for all these years, man.
Well, you just mentioned working locally, working in Northern Virginia. And since this is a show a lot about, you know, music and how music has changed in the area over time, what did you experience, like, coming from the Northern Virginia scene and just as a rapper from Northern Virginia, you know, basically describing hip-hop in Northern Virginia?
Wow. Well, if we start off from way back, I'll use Kent's name again, Kent Kaiser again. You know, Kent was unique where if you ever heard anybody rap, you know, you just didn't hear anybody rap. So, no, here's this white cat. He's got more hip-hop in him than I had. He's got more hip-hop in his finger than I had in my entire body. So, you know, it was intriguing, but, you know, he still had that New York flavor. That's, you know, that's what I, you know, from my original introduction to VA hip-hop, Northern Virginia hip-hop. Now, you fast forward into my heydays where you've got, like, you know, my man H.A.D., a.k.a. Vincent Vega. You know, you've got my man The Riddler, Will C. You know, it's kind of like this. It's not West Coast. No, by no means is it West Coast. But it's not 100% East Coast. It's kind of like, it's just like its own flavor. You get that East Coast feel, but it's its own flavor from our heyday. So I'm talking about the mid to late 90s, maybe early 2000s. And there were a lot of lyricists, man. Names are slipping me right now. And then now you come into this newer era that I'm starting to hear these younger cats. And, you know, some of them are trying to stay in that DMV sound, but, you know, then I have a lot of them. I hear a few here and there that they're kind of going in that little yachty, that type of realm. But for the most part, we still have our own flavor. And I feel like it's more the East Coast sound. No matter who you see in the street, no matter what VA, MC you're listening to, we all kind of have that East flavor, and none of it's bad. It's it's just some of it's an acquired taste, but it's definitely unique. Some of us you can't really tell whether or not we're East Coast or not. I get a lot of references to East Coast rappers when people listen to my tracks, but yeah, man, it's kind of like that East Coast vibe, but it's still it's unique to VA. It's just like you haven't heard that, but it's tight.
Did you feel supported?
Oh, I definitely had a pretty good following, man, for a while. I did open mics for years. I don't know if you're familiar with Sam Gunderson, but we did a open mic down. Yeah, Sam Gunderson. He's a huge talented. Yeah, there you go.
Crunchy water. I know.
Oh yeah.
Sam will be on the show at some point too, by the way.
Oh, that would be awesome. Well, you can definitely give a Pea Soup reference. You'll know who you're talking about. But yeah, Sammy had started this open mic down at Lake Ann. And it was kind of it was at the time it was still Il Chino's, which is the original restaurant. The original owners, man, it took off. It was like I came down. Sammy was really starting to get busy with the whole American Idol thing, and traveling a lot. So I ended up taking over as the host, and that was probably the biggest following I had at that point in wrestling, throughout wrestling, and going into Herndon, and I'd be at the bars out in Fairfax, PA's Cadoos, and people knew who Pea Soup was. So, I kind of generated a buzz just starting there and then doing more shows. Because the big thing, at a younger age, I was never shy to be on stage. Never been. But, having a lot of content was an issue because I wasn't writing as much. Well, in the later years, having so many songs under my belt, I could go and, host a show, and then everybody wanted me to get on the mic, so we would rock. It was one of the baddest things in the world, dude. There were nothing but acoustics. We didn't have a drum set, so there was a banjo, a harmonica, a congo player. There was actually somebody playing a violin, and they would come up with something, a jam, and Pea Soup would freestyle over it, and everybody would go crazy. And I'm talking about 25-year-olds to 65-year-old white ladies coming up to me saying, "Oh my God, you changed my whole perception of hip hop." This is a true, I swear to you, this happened. True story. And it happened on occasion one night.
Banjos and harmonicas would change my perception of hip hop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. But, it's a harmonica in the background, but you got a congo player playing a hip hop groove. There's no drum. But it was tight, kind of like a De La Soul interlude, and here I am freestyling over it. So I miss those days, man. It was awesome. Can't compare it.
Well, so when I go online and I'm looking up Pea Soup like you suggested I do, and I had looked you up before, but I was trying to do a Pea Soup deep dive. Basically, I'm only able to find two albums.
So if you want to see my very first album, which is you'll have to search Pea Soup Suburban Legend 13.
Okay.
That would have been the first album that was posted, and I want to think there should be one more.
And what's that one up on?
This is popping up on Amazon. It's like Amazon, iTunes, and CD Baby is where I originally.
What's the single off that one?
So East to West, which is one of the tracks I sent you, would be the single that I would, the big single off of that album.
This rocks from East to West, VAMD, DC, we rest. We merge of a feather, must flock together. Listen, all black MCs, cause ain't no one better. This rocks from East to West, VAMD, DC, we rest. We merge of a feather, must flock together. Listen, all black MCs, cause ain't no one better. Can you do it like me? I think not. We'll give it your Make sure you've got the water thoroughly hitting the spot. Blazing saddles under you cause my new flavor's hot. Fool, I got you booking, not reading, not hollering that hoochie. But got you running if you start like stars running from crazy goofies. Not because I'm coming after your butt with the burner. Got you gripping like ice, catching blows from Tina Turner. Your style is fake like an unchanged diaper of a senior citizen wearing the pins. It all depends if you're depending on me to write a jam that wins. It's all good then, son. I gotta save you from the bomb I drop. I'm so calm when I run it. Now you know only the heads that flow can reap this. So creative, this gut in my cut. So get your pad and take notes, cause this is true product. So what? Check it. Your head's bobbing, you don't stop. Try to catch yourself, you don't stop. Your teeth chatter to the beat. Now give me my props. This is the first this year of P this year, so never fear. React for real, cause
And remind me, is that's another one you did with your brother?
Oh yeah, that entire album was myself and Justice.
Okay, and that you recorded in the early 2000s.
That would have been more like late 90s.
Okay, that's late 90s. So what happened to all the tracks from like 94 to 97 that you're talking about? What happened to all the music that you were making in high school in that like early period?
So
how come you never put that stuff out, or what was that stuff out on?
Well, back, let's just say now, I need a conversion method. We have some stuff on cassette tape, like literally the original stuff. Greg keeps that safe, so Justice doesn't record over it, so I don't lose it. So that stuff still exists. There was about 15 to 20 tracks of my ex-wife, out of a fit of rage because she thought I was trying to holler at Maya, destroyed all of those songs. So they're nowhere. Unless that EP there, I put out like a 3 or 4 track EP around 94, 95. Somebody probably has that, but other than that, there are no remnants of it, unfortunately, because the only copies I had were destroyed, and I believe Justice recorded over the master. So yeah, there's a huge gap and there's a lot of missing music. But I have a very huge catalog still in my possession. I keep it safe and I keep backups of it. So everything that's still in existence, including the entire catalog that I did with Eric, I still have, and I have that saved and backed up. So.
Well, why isn't that up and out? Like, why isn't all the stuff you did with Eric, why the stuff that you did with Greg?
So when I really got into, I guess, figured out how to start posting that stuff, you know, I had to be choosy. A lot of it has to do with, like, rights. Some of it might be ego. With Eric, I know it was rights, so I never really had the ability to just post any of that stuff. So I just wasn't allowed to. I mean, it was like he went through the whole legal. I mean, all of my music is copywritten, but that was a different section. We made an agreement. Actually, it's not a contract when I work with him. But we made an agreement that, you know, my music, piece of music, anything that predated the sports music, you know, it's mine. He can't touch that, obviously. But anything involving the sports music, I was not allowed to touch. I couldn't post it. I couldn't give it away to people. That's the rule. And that was under contract. So unfortunately, I didn't have any choice. As far as like the stuff I did with Greg and stuff like that, again, more music that was destroyed. You know, back then we were silly. And I trusted that, hey, this stuff is recorded, so somebody's going to always have a master. That's my fault. My ignorance, stupidity, never, you know, making duplicate or multiple copies of a lot of those tracks. And unfortunately, that's why I don't have them available.
Yeah, because I would say, you know, there's basically only like 2 albums out there of yours, essentially. You know, and that's from a whole career. We're talking at least a good, like, at least solid, 10 years? 10 to 15 of recording?
Yeah. More than I would say more than 20. If you skip, you know, 89 through the 94 era where I wasn't really doing a whole lot, and we're talking about from 95 all the way up until 2016. I've got like 60, everything that I have left. I have all peaceful music. Here we go. We got about 50, 60 songs.
I gotta tell you, by the way, can I just say straight up, like, I am a fan. I'm a fan of yours. I'm a fan of your music. I think that it's right in my wheelhouse of like mid-90s. It's funny, it's clever, the beats are good, the hooks are good. It's recorded well.
I appreciate that, man. Definitely need to hear that, man.
And you're talking, and it doesn't hurt that there are references to Reston and Northern Virginia.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All throughout too, and it means something to me. It definitely like pulls at my heartstrings anytime I hear somebody rapping about Reston.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate that, and I'm with you as well, man. That's why I do it. It's like I went into this not thinking I'm gonna be a backstreet, rapper rhyming in diners and in little bars and resting for the rest of my life. No, I had the dream. I was right next to the dream. I made some bad decisions along the way that kept me from that dream, but, I went into this full-fledged, like, I'm blowing up, so I'm shouting out where I come from. And I'm not fronting. I ain't from D.C. I'm from our town, man. And that's how I went in. That's how I went, I remain that way.
So what were some of those bad decisions? What happened?
Well, kind of not being again, we got to throw the big brother thing in there. He was pretty commanding. Made some remarks and statements that I should have just bypassed and going with it anyway. The example is, after I did the recording with Maya, she kind of hinted at, let's ride in this together. You know what I mean? And instead of getting the number so we could not just date, but getting the number so we could actually work together. I backed down because of, a look and a command of no. And I never should have listened to that. Never, ever, ever should have listened to that. And so, that put me in a rut. And by being in that rut, I didn't want to work with him. And so that was a heyday. X came right after that. And, I spoke to X, and I was like, he was like, well, you know how it is, man. He's like, on a label, you can't really make those decisions on your own. He's like, but, just keep working with your brother, man. I'm going to be back through, and yada, yada, so Hollywood talk. But, the biggest decision was, that, I turned down a couple of opportunities to do some shows that would have been huge for me because I had kids fighting with X. Bad decisions. What comes first? Career first. Whether she wanted it or not, that's my career. I worked hard at that. And I worked hard at that for a very long time on my craft, as they say. And, so things like that. I bounced back. One of my final shows, or I won't say final. Nothing is ever final when you're an artist and that's in your blood. But my last show, which was, I believe 2016, I opened up for Cisco in Fairfax. It's pretty cool, pretty good. It was did three of my 3 tracks from the Untouchable album. Would have been nice if it was a bigger crowd, but I'd been out of the scene for a while. But I bounced back well. It was a good performance, and I stepped down with that. At this point, Eric did ask me to step back into the game recently, but I'm still a little undecided right now. Just kind of sitting back.
Well, I think you had the talent for sure. And the stuff is out there. It's on record, so people can listen to those albums and judge for themselves.
Absolutely.
But I mean that. Unfortunately, it's a big running theme on this podcast that there are a lot of, you know, it doesn't matter about the talent in the music industry. And it doesn't matter about the talent from all these artists from Northern Virginia. You know, for one reason or another, some things get big, some things don't, and you know, the only thing that essentially lasts out of all of it should be the music.
Absolutely, man. That's it.
You know, and you know, I'm reaching out to people. I want to hear all the stories because it's crazy how many people were out there making music at the same time. You know, and we didn't even realize it. We didn't even realize essentially altogether there was no way to like see the big picture from over top and realize how many great bands and artists were recording at that time and place all at the same time, making great music.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you got to think too, as I guess the fun rivalry part of it was all of us thought we were the best. Like, you know, as far as I was concerned, you know, P-Soup was the top guy as far as MCing was concerned. You know, not just making, you know, because there were mad cats out, you know, that could beat me in a cipher, that blown me away in a cipher in the past. But when it came to writing and dropping music in the studio, nah. And I still feel that way to this day. Nobody. Except the ones that have blown up. There are a couple, I think, that's been on some Little Brother tracks. I don't even know those cats. They're a bit younger than me. But, yeah, man, when it came to going in the studio and dropping it, knocking it out, getting it done, and making quality product, good product, that classic stuff that people still tell me that, as you mentioned, they still love that track. They still play it. You know, I was the one. I put myself, you know, I held myself very high, you know, and a high standard, you know, just when it came to recording. You know, I never went in the studio. If I had drinks, I wasn't performing, I wasn't recording. Period. Don't drink and rhyme. So, you know, and I don't like to go in the studio and waste time. If I'm in there, let's work. Otherwise, I'm going home. So, I took that very seriously. I've seen guys come in there, they can't get started, and they're, you know, blazing 4 blunts, and they still haven't written a verse. You know, nah, when I came in, you know, now I have my moments. You know, I didn't like the beats. Beats didn't work with me. But when it came to going to the studio, man, I still do take it very seriously. And that's why I'm careful about jumping back in it. It's got to be in my heart. If it ain't in my heart, I'm not going to waste anybody's time.
Well, there's still a lot of talented cats around there doing it.
Oh, yeah. My kids, bruh. Both my sons, both very talented. Dino, look him up on Facebook. I'm sure he would love to do an interview if you can get the kid to answer his phone. Very talented. You know, I've argued with my friends multiple times, and it's like, you know, I think Brandon may actually. I do think Brandon has something different. If you have to compare from eras and flow and how he puts things together, he's definitely extremely talented. Is he a better MC and performer as me overall? Nah, he's raw. But as far as lyricism, oh, the cat can spit. He is nice, and he's got some hot tracks, man.
Can't get enough. Can't get enough. Nah, no. Can't get enough. Can't get enough. No. Can't get enough. Can't get enough. Nah, no. Can't get enough. Can't get enough. Nah, no. I can't get enough of honey. She probably wanna on it. And all I know is get some money. And all my homies go for nothing. I try to make a couple come up. A couple hundreds in the cut. Damn it, came a clutches. Hard to say if we stray. We need this. Let's get paid. I mean it. I seen them Benjamin.
It sounds like the Johnsons need to make a family album.
I've been talking about it, man. I've been talking about it. It won't take much.
It sounds like everybody has to put down their best tracks and see who's the best.
I think that's what it is, man. It looks like it might be coming. We may have even inspired something.
I'd love to hear that. I'd be the first one lining up to hear something like that.
Oh yeah, it's coming. I owe my kids. I promised them. I was like, yeah, we'll do one track, at least one track with the three of us. So
all right, well,
stay tuned.
I hope you hear that soon. I will stay tuned, and maybe you can bring that back, and I can bring you guys back on an episode together. That'd be real cool. Real cool. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your work time, carving out a minute to talk to me, shoot the shit about the Bullets.
Yeah. Hail to the Redskins, man. Hail to the Redskins, brother.
The Skins, and all this music from Northern Virginia. All this rest in love.
Yes, sir. And it was a pleasure, man. I appreciate you looking me up, man. P-Soup, a.k.a. Amazing, man. Representing wrestling.
Home, the place where you lay your head at, your comfort, all your fam at. Love, keep it right. There is no bay, but I found a dock. Found my way down the path, had it on lock. My outlet was an arcade that kept my too sweet. I recall the rumble never took place. Retreat, inspired crew battles, reminisce of Beach Street. A roller skate boogie, new spot. What's the business? Graffiti signs of ninja games, very few bear witness. Home is where I rest in, a place called resting. Like anywhere else, we get gully and still send blessings. My alma mater, I share with names like Grant Hill. Remember B-Rhyme with the jokes? Long live the mill, melting pot, I love a lot. Here we keeping it hot, tiny dot on the map where I rock the spot. 2 fingers up like a peace sign. 2 fingers down, now you recline. Rest in my home, the place that I rest on. A place where we lay and we stay cause we press on. You can try to call me soft, roll, mad, thick or thin, but that shit ain't gonna faze me cause I creep within, discreetly blend with the thug of the rug niggas. Standing on the wall, be up in club niggas. Who got a tree fort? Rafts and streams, field trips. Tagging the woods, bikes with handlebar grips. These youngins nowadays, like any type of respect. Give them a head, now they ready to wreck. Wanna beat a little kid with a sock full of rocks. Ain't nobody gonna teach him one of life's building blocks. Tight like spandex on a midget in December. Somebody's crib got messed up, I can't remember. Melting pot, I love a lot, here we keeping it hot. Tiny dot on the map where I rock the spot. 2 fingers up like a piece.